Hello!
And welcome to Player 2 Productions' first podcast. These podcasts will span a wide range of topics, mainly video games, and will also include top 10 and things like that.
In today's episode, we'll be going through and ranking all of the Call of Duty Wonder Weapons, from World at War through all the Black Opses.
To clarify, this list does not include any weapons from Advanced or Infinite Warfare, but it does include the ray gun in all three variants, and the staves and bows will be ranked collectively rather than individually. Let's go.
Okay, so what we intend on doing is going down from, obviously, the worst to the best. So, I want to kick this list off very simply, in my opinion. I think you know which one I'm going to say. For the very simple reason that it takes a million years to build, and you can only use it for a short amount of time. Plus, I think most people agree it is on one of the worst maps ever made on zombies. It has to be the jet gun, also known as the Thrusterdyne Aeronautics Model 23.
Okay, very interesting. I'm conflicted though, because I've never, as much zombies as I've played and as good at zombies as I am, not to that wasn't me bragging, you know, I'm just saying, I'm Prestige Master 100 and something on Black Ops 3. I've never used the jet gun.
It's more along the lines, I've used it once.
Right.
I built it once.
Okay.
It was on a 4-player game.
Right.
Obviously, all of the other guys were just running around, like, on the bus, just doing transity stuff, you know, like spending a million years to try and get the power on, then getting completely abused by that stupid electric thing. I don't even want to do the courtesy of giving it its name. So it's more on the lines of, like, some of the parts, yeah, fair enough, they're easy to get, but I mean, like, you've got the ones that are in NACT, and the one that's, like, in that cabin, and it's just very simply, well, it's more along the lines of you've got to get off the bus, you've got to run through the denizens, you know, your face gets destroyed, you have an awful experience, and then you build this gun and you think, oh, this is so awesome, and you use it for 3 minutes and it breaks. And then, you know, if you're using it around lava and one of the bits falls in the lava, you can never build it again. And then you've wasted, like, you know, an hour of your life building something that's completely and utterly pointless.
Well, sounds like something I definitely do not want to use. But for the fact that I've never actually used it, I'm conflicted between the jet gun and the Winter's Howl, because the Winter's Howl is just it's bad. It's one of those wonder weapons you'll get from the box and you won't be happy when you get it. You'll initially see it and it looks different from all the other regular guns, and you think, oh, this is a new gun, I'm going to try it out, and it's just so bad. The zombies it'll kill zombies maybe for a couple of rounds, but when you get to round 15 plus, it just temporarily freezes them and then they come back, and you only have a very limited number of shots before you have to reload, and the reloading takes ages, and the map is just the map accompanying it. That might be the fact why I hate it so much, but
well, for Verrückten 5, so they're two maps that are very conflicting within the community. I think you'll agree. Like, I personally love Verrückt on Black Ops 3 for the very simple reason of sitting in the most expensive closet with the most expensive gun ever. But I mean, if you've got gobble gums, I mean, as we've seen, we can last for a pretty long time. So,
but of course, I think another thing we should clarify. Well, are we going to do this with or without gobble gums? Because some of the gobble gums can really.
No, I think that because Black Ops 3 includes the gobble gums, and you've got the weapons in Black Ops 3. I think it's fair that you include it.
Okay.
So, I'm sticking with the jet gun.
Right. I think, just based on what you've said, I'm going to have to agree the jet gun is going to be the worst wonder weapon in all of Call of Duty Zombies, but closely followed, in my account, by the Winter's Howl.
The only saving factor with the jet gun, I think, is the aesthetic.
Oh really? Do you think it looks good?
It looks cool. I mean,
okay.
If you think about it, it's running off with. It's like you're running around with like a massive engine.
Okay, fine. Anyway, let's move on to the next one, number 33. What are you? What's coming?
This is a difficult one. So I mean,
right.
The jet gun is obviously the worst.
Okay.
But for the next one for me, I'm afraid, due to the fact that I've never really used it, and to be perfectly fair, it's on a map that I don't really like, and it's only important really in the Easter egg. It's going to be the time bomb.
Okay. So another thing to mention that we failed to do so is that equipment is going to be used on this list. Just making a note of everything now.
What it basically is, right? The time bomb, in my opinion, is kind of like the Gersh device's disabled brother. That's the way that I'm looking at it. Like, obviously it doesn't do the same thing, but I mean, you throw it and you go back in time. Wow. I'm sorry. Like, if it transported you to like the dinosaur period, or I don't know, but no, it just takes you back in time, unburied, so you're still there, buried. You know, everything is just, you know, stupid. I mean, you go in the house, the witch takes your money. You walk anywhere, you fall through a hole in the ceiling and you down, and then, you know, you shoot a bullet in the wrong way, and Leroy, he's gonna just locks himself back in the stupid fucking prison. You just, no.
Okay.
Bad weapon on a bad map.
Well, I kind of agree in some sense, but on the other hand, I think that it had so much potential to be so much better, because if it did something, if they put a device in there that did something more useful, like teleported you to the Pack-a-Punch machine, or teleported you to Jug,
or killed the witch,
or killed the witches, you know, but it doesn't. It teleports you back in time, which is only useful once a game, I guess. And if you're doing the Easter egg, it's useful, I guess, but it's only really useful if you're going for those high rounds and you come across, you know, one round maybe in the 30s where you're about to die, so you use it and you go back in time. Fine, it's useful then, but that's basically it. And your average zombies player isn't going to be doing that, and I just see it as pointless. It's a wasted potential. But my number 35, I think, I can't remember. Anyway, the second one for me is still going to be the Winter's Howl, because it's just appalling. Anyway, moving on from there.
Okay, this one is probably going to stir some controversy. I mean, I don't think that you're going to expect me to say this.
Right.
But it's the VR11.
Okay. Why is that?
Well, I mean, the look of the gun is like...
Yeah, I mean, it looks great.
Amazing.
Yeah.
But it just turns the zombies into a screaming, scared human.
So it's basically a monkey bomb gun. It shoots monkey bombs, in effect. Because they all go after the human.
But
so that could be...
the monkey bomb is like really cool and a staple of zombies, but like the VR11, it's yet again, as with most Wonder Weapons, essential for the Easter egg. But the thing is, like, you're gonna want, especially, and I think, and you will definitely agree, in Call of Dead breaks the world record for one of the most expensive zombies maps ever. You're gonna want a point gun, and obviously, as with every game, like the get the hell out of my way gun.
Yeah.
And the thing is, out of the two Wonder Weapons that most people know on Call of the Dead, you've got the Scavenger and the VR11. Everyone will pick the Scavenger. I mean, if you're good with snipers, it does like a ridiculous amount of damage. I think it is one of the highest like damaging guns in zombies. I think. Yeah. So you're always going to put the Scavenger unless you're doing the Easter egg. And like I said, all the VR11 does, it barely gives you any points. It turns it into a human. It's yeah. And I mean, sometimes, as with Call of the Dead, it takes you ages to get it in the box.
Okay. So I can see that you have a big hatred for the thing. Although, don't you think that if you're out of your 3 monkey bombs, it's a life-saving weapon? Would you not say? Is it? I don't know.
It is. But I mean, like Call of the Dead on Black Ops 1. Right. I mean, like the perfect setup, disregarding Mule Kick, because who likes Mule Kick? For example, you've got the Scavenger, and then you've got like the Commando.
Okay. You wouldn't pick up the VR11.
No, you wouldn't pick the VR11, because I mean the Commando, it's got a ridiculous amount of ammo, it's got a ridiculous amount of damage, and you know that is your point gun. So most people are going to use that. And the thing is, if you get the monkey in the box, you're very rarely going to use a monkey unless you are very, very far down shit creek without a paddle. So the VR11, in my opinion, it's just useless. It just takes up a gun slot.
It's just okay. So it's useless. I see where you're going with this. For my next one, I'm gonna have to say I don't know how many people would agree with me on this one, but I'm gonna have to go with the Matryoshka dolls.
Really?
Yeah, because this might be due to my inexperience with the things, but when I first threw one, I first got it from the box and I first used it. I knew what they did. I knew it was an explosive weapon. I was told it was overpowered, but it sounds really petty of me, but it's basically just more grenades. And although they're much more powerful, I'd rather have monkey bombs or a ghost device than extra grenades. And on top of that, again, as I was saying, this is the point about the inexperience, is that they're quite difficult to throw, because the way that you throw them, you don't just... It's not like your typical grenade or your ghost device where you chuck it out in front of you. You sort of spill it out and you kind of have to aim it differently, and it's quite difficult to aim with. And that might be me being bad at using the things, but it's when we were doing the Easter egg on Ascension, I had the Matryoshka dolls, and I kept missing the light with them because I couldn't aim properly. I couldn't judge how far they were going to go, and I just thought, what is this? This is just useless.
Just to clarify, for those of you who don't know, we're on about the light on Ascension as being part of the Easter egg. Okay. Zombies Knowledge 101.
Didn't specify there. But yeah, no, I just not a fan. I definitely think that they, again, similarly to the time bomb, it was wasted potential. But that's just my opinion. Anyway.
Okay. Right, so it's a difficult one, isn't it? I mean, you look down the list, and I mean, you some of these guns are just completely and utterly like awesome. But I think it's got to be on average the most disliked. My next one is the Winter's Howl. I love the aesthetic of the gun. It looks awesome, but like you said, as you get into later rounds, you might as well use a Nerf gun on the zombies.
It's that bad.
Yeah, like you said, it's not got a lot of ammo. It's weak after, like you said, I think it's like round 15.
Yeah.
And I mean, you want a gun in like that situation.
Right.
Wonder weapons, they're just well known of being like one click of the trigger, everything's dead.
Yeah.
I mean, like a Winter's Howl, although it's like one click of the trigger and they could potentially die, you've still got to waste your time clicking up on your analog stick to run through the zombies to kill them. And I mean, if you're like in a panicky situation, I mean, prime example here, and it will be mentioned a lot later on in this list. Like if you're completely surrounded and you have like an apothecary servant, shoot it at the ground, everything dies immediately. With a Winter's Howl, you've got to like shoot it. You've got to you've got to empty the magazine. You've got to empty the magazine, and the thing is, like you said, because there's not a lot of ammo, you'll literally just burn through everything on a later round in like less than a round. And unless you have, like I said, the really imperative point guns, you're gonna die.
Okay. It's just they could have done something way better. I get the aesthetic part of it. It looks decent, but in terms of use, in terms of function, it just doesn't suffice for me. As for my next choice, as you said, looking through the list, it's very difficult to choose because there are a lot of wonder weapons that are actually really, really good, but at the same time, there are just a few that are just not quite there. I'm gonna have to say the quantum entanglement devices.
Oh, okay.
Because I know my previous one was equipment as well, but similarly to the Matryoshka dolls, I would rather have a ghost device or a monkey bomb than the QEDs. And I understand that the QED can do a lot of things depending on the situation you're in. Sometimes it can spawn a ray gun, sometimes it can act just like a grenade, but a lot of the time, because of the randomness of the thing, and because it's just why it's not necessary. Why have a QED device if you're not doing the Easter egg? You don't need a QED device.
True.
That's the thing. If you're going for a high round, you're going to get a ghost device. You're going to get rid of the QED. You're going to get a ghost device. The QED is just not something you'd pick up.
It's just there for the Easter egg.
It's just there for the Easter egg. In fact, I don't think it's in is it? Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think it's in a map unless it's other than Ascension. I think it's in Ascension.
No, it's Moon.
Moon. I think. Wait, is it just in Moon?
I think it's just in Moon, and I think. Well, I mean, who plays Moon? It is the most irritating map on the history of planet Earth. I just have an active list like for Buried. I mean, the more that I play Moon, the kind of more I'm liking it. And as we've mentioned, if you use your gobble gums on Moon, it makes it a little bit easier. But it's just it comes down to luck, and I think I'll just out and say it now. I think the QED is going to be my next pick.
Yeah. Okay.
For the very simple, like you said, it's just random. You don't want randomness, especially when you're on higher rounds. You know, those important higher rounds. You want to know what you're doing.
Yeah.
You want to know where you stand, and you just don't.
The QED is not something. It's just not.
And like you said, if you're just playing on like Moon for the pure joy of playing Moon.
Yeah.
I mean, like you would, but if you're playing on Moon for the pure joy of playing on Moon, you're going to use the Gersh device.
Yeah.
Hands down.
You're not going to pick up the QED. I don't know anyone who'd pick on purpose pick up the QED. I just don't see it really. I don't see it, and for that reason, it's before things like the VR11 and any other guns that you might consider to be on there. But it's down there. It's down there. I'm actually questioning why I've put that after the Matroiska dolls. But I have my reasons. Anyway, so as you said, your next
my next pick was the QED, so it's
QED
your
devices. Turn. Okay, so my next one again after the QED, we're gonna go for the VR11.
Nah.
Only because every other one on the list is just better than it. Out of everything we've done,
I'm guessing it's the same reasoning as mine.
It's the same reasoning as yours. I think the only reason why it's higher up than the Winter's Howl or the Matryoshka dolls is because I think it's only just because of the aesthetics of the gun. I actually really like the way it looks, the way it reloads. It uses blood vials as a ammo.
It's a cool weapon. It's a cool concept. It's just it doesn't do what I want it to do. I mean, if you shot it into or if you shot it and it turned into a human, what I'd then want to happen is the human runs around, it swipes all the zombies, and then it like explodes in like a nuclear style. So like everything just gets destroyed. So if they made the VR11 have like Apothecon ammo 7, like 8 bullets,
right,
or whatever you want to call them, but those 8 bullets can literally just like end a round in like one shot.
Yeah, no, I mean, again, like a lot of things that I've said on this list, it could have been so much better than it was. And I mean, but when it comes to aesthetics, it looks a little similar to the Apothecon Servant. That might just be me. I don't know if you can.
No,
see
I can see what you mean, because if you have a look, it almost looks like, you know, at the front it's got like, well, it's not the tentacles because it's mechanical, but it's got the same. It seems like Blundell was kind of like ripping off the VR11. So, but I think what he's actually generally done, if you have a look at the VR11 and kind of like the concept, it's kind of completely different. They look the same, and I think the Apothecon Servant is just like the VR11 on steroids in some.
Of course, it does completely different things, but I mean, right now we're looking at 2 side-by-side pictures, comparing them, they look similar, and that's why I kind of like the aesthetics. I love the look of the Apothecon Servant, but because the VR11 is like a mechanized Apothecon Servant in terms of looks, I just prefer. I think the VR11 in terms of aesthetics is one of my favorite ones.
Yeah.
But as for performance, doesn't do it justice at all. So that is why it is on the list, as low down as it is. So, moving on.
Right. So I'm torn.
Really?
I'm torn now between, we'll call it the Mark 1 ray gun.
Okay.
And the Paralyzer.
Okay, really?
Like I've mentioned, Paralyzer is a good gun on a bad map. I mean, I don't like Buried. I've played Buried loads. It's just not a pleasurable zombies experience. There's like, although it's innovative, I love the idea of it. It's I don't like the feel. I
agree.
If you go back to like World at War Zombies and Black Ops, you've got the atmosphere.
Yeah.
Although like Nacht is really small, you've got the really terrifying atmosphere, and it's like the birth of zombies. And then you go on to Black Ops, and then you've got like Kino and Shang, which is absolutely gorgeous. It's just such a lovely looking map. Buried although it looks okay, it's just I know you can't say ridiculous in zombies because it's kind of it's just contradicting yourself. But I just don't like the map. And in terms of
just to be clear,
I think I'm going to go for the paralyzer for the very simple reason. It's a cool idea, but it's a rare weapon for one, and it's like. I don't know. You know when you play and you just get a feeling for a gun and you enjoy using it and you're like, oh, I aside from like the paralyzer, like I know that you've got the bank glitch where you can fly up onto the roof, especially if you've got vulture aid, and then you can like basically not die.
Although, just to clarify quickly, we are talking about these wonder weapons in a non-glitched sense. So, for example, one thing that you could do with the paralyzer is you can find a spot and you can sit in it for ages just spraying. And we're talking not in that sense. We're talking in your average game of zombies running around, doing this and that. Not really a glitched game of zombies or a camping game of zombies. We're talking your average zombies game where you don't do these things. I kind of agree. The paralyzer, it doesn't really cut it.
Yet again, I think with I would say 99% of the weapons on this list, the paralyzer looks really cool.
Yeah, definitely.
It's such a cool idea. It just doesn't do a lot.
I mean, aside from flying, I know that it can kill zombies, but its main intention is to just slow them down. And sort of, I know the Buried has the time bomb as well. It's a very time map, but because its main intention is to slow them down and not kill them, it doesn't really cut it.
And the thing is, the main reason I hate the paralyzer is like those rare occasions that I've been on Buried. You use the paralyzer, and then someone waltzes round the corner with like an AN or an explosive weapon, and all of those zombies that you've wasted your hard-earned time slowing down, someone's just going to steal kills.
Yeah, no, I think it's just. I'm not necessarily putting it on my list at this point here, but I can see where you're coming from. I definitely think the paralyzer is not. It's not good enough. Just like a lot of the other things we've said, it's not good enough for what it should be.
No, I think it doesn't cut it in my opinion. Yeah, so although I can't really moan a lot about the paralyzer. There's not a lot wrong with it, but there's not a lot right with it. It's just like an average gun, and for it, you can't say in terms of a wonder weapon it's like an average gun, and that's the reason why it's there. It's not as bad as the other ones that I've mentioned, but it's still quite bad.
Still quite bad. Okay. So for my next pick, I'm going to go with the. I'm torn as well because I'm torn between the paralyzer, but instead of the ray gun Mark 1, I'm thinking the Sliquifier, because
what?
Hear me out. The Sliquifier is good, but because of the map that it's on, I never spent much time using it, and
yet again, it's got the buildable issue, isn't it?
The buildable issue, and back in Black Ops 2, when you were building things, you couldn't you couldn't pick up multiple parts at the same time, and you had to spend a lot of money opening the different doors. You had to spend money. Each door to go between levels was like 1,000, and you had to wait for the elevator, and then you had to grab one part and come back down and go back up and grab another one.
Just to clarify again, all of these weapons are after. Well, they're pre-patch. I mean, like no, before the patch for the Sliquifier. I don't know if you ever used it.
It was.
Oh my God.
Yeah, okay.
No, regardless of the fact that it was on Buried, you literally die rise. Aside from the fact that it was on die rise, you just couldn't die. There was just no way in a million years you were going to die with a pre-patch Sliquifier. But after that, it's still a cool weapon. It's not going to come from me yet, but I see what you're saying.
And the other thing is, with a lot of these wonder weapons, they can be upgraded as well, and the Sliquifier couldn't. And I feel like if it could, while it did infinitely kill zombies like most wonder weapons do, if you could upgrade the Sliquifier, or if I don't know, I feel like the Sliquifier is a really cool idea, and they presented it well.
There's something missing.
There's something missing. It's not quite the wonder weapon. Maybe it's not the wonder weapon itself. Maybe it's the fact it's on die rise, the fact that you have to build it, the fact that it's right at the bottom of the map. Or maybe even the fact that it might be considered too overpowered in some people's eyes. You could get that thing on round 1 if you had 4 players with money in the bank. So I don't know. I just feel like that the Sliquifier is cutting it this low on the list. And my next one is going to be the Paralyzer. It closely follows the Paralyzer.
Okay, well,
in terms of wonder weapons.
In terms of mine, the Liquefier is not next.
Right.
It will be the ray gun.
Right. Okay.
As in the Mark 1 ray gun, for the very simple reason, like, if you can remember when World at War came out, you know, when we first saw Knack there on Toten, that the glorious day, and you go up to the box, and you've got all these awesome weapons. You've got, the PPSH on Darius. We don't even need to mention it anymore because everyone knows what that gun's like. But like on the first one, you've got the LMGs, so you've got the MG42, and then you've got the Browning, and you've got all of these awesome guns. And then, oh my god, what is this? Yeah, nothing seen before. And I mean, unless you've done the Easter egg in the actual campaign mission.
Yeah, I remember you showing me that.
Yeah, which is really, really cool. If you don't know, you can get the ray gun on the campaign on World at War. There are many YouTube tutorials to do it. It's very easy, and you can just fly through the level without any problem. But anyway, going off topic there. On the game, you get it out of the box, and you think, oh my god, this is so cool. And then a couple of months later, they bring out Darius, and it's got the Wunderwaffe in it. And then ever since then, the ray gun, in my opinion, has just been like, I mean, you get it in the first few rounds and you can't die, but you don't get any points. And then as the rounds progress, it doesn't kill zombies.
And I think so. The thing with the ray gun, the one thing the ray gun that has that many other wonder weapons don't is that, similarly to the monkey bomb, it's a staple of zombies. I mean, the ray gun is just when you think ray gun, you think zombies. If you told someone the 31-79 JGB215 or the Baby Maker, you don't know what that is. You tell them you say the ray gun, they automatically think zombies. I think that's the only real thing the ray gun's got going for it, because it was the first wonder weapon. Yeah. But now we've got so many, and there are so many good ones that it's just piled it down right to the bottom.
And the main thing I hate,
go on.
2 little words: splash damage.
Splash damage, definitely, and the fact that they took PhD Flopper out of Weapons 3 as well,
especially in maps where you need it.
Yeah.
Die rise. But yeah, no, the ray gun, although I love the ray gun, and obviously with every zombies player, it's going to have a really close kind of like, you're going to be really close to it. It's always going to have a place in your heart. Yeah. It just like the things, like the guns that we've mentioned before, it just doesn't cut the mustard for zombies. No. And if you get the ray gun in the box, you're only going to keep it for a couple of rounds until you get something better. It's like I don't know what you can call it. It's kind of like a stop gun, if you suppose you can call it. It's just there, just until you find something better. And obviously you've said that yours is the Paralyzer, so
yeah. So for my next one, it's getting difficult now because the guns are just getting better and better. Well, the thing that's making it difficult to decide for me is that I really like the concept and look of a lot of the wonder weapons. Even though they don't perform, I really like the idea of them, and if I like the way they look and I like the idea of them, generally they're higher up on the list. But I'm probably going to put I'm probably going to take it back a little bit. I'm probably going to put the time bomb now.
Okay.
For very similar reasons, but I think that except for the monkey bomb, most of and maybe the Gersh device, most of the equipment in zombies, although it's considered a wonder weapon, is not brilliant. And I think the time bomb is useful, I think, but it's not. It's only useful in certain events, similar to the Paralyzer, similar to the Liquefier, similar to all the other wonder weapons I've listed. Really, they're only good in certain events. Could have been better, but that's my next one on the list.
Okay. So I think the next one for me is now going to be the Matryoshka dolls.
Okay.
I do love them. Don't get me wrong. Literally, my only reasoning for this is, I mean, I can use them. I've used the Matryoshka dolls. I really enjoy them. I love the way that they look. You know, I have a soft spot in my heart for anything that is Russian, and it's the only thing is there are just things that are better. That's literally my only reasoning for that.
I completely understand that. Not much really to say about that.
No,
we've gone through both of those. Okay, so do you want to take us through the next one on your list?
Yeah, so my next one is the Apothicon 7. I'm joking, it's not.
Oh my gosh. I was going to say, what are you doing?
Yeah, like you said, it's getting really difficult now. So I think, actually, for the very simple reason, like with your reasoning, I don't enjoy the build up to getting it, and I've never really used it. It's not a map that I like, don't get me wrong, except it's not a map that I enjoy playing over and over again, and it's going to be the Gauntlet of Siegfried.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, from Gerard Crovey, first Black Ops 3 Wonder Weapon. Let me just... Well, aside from the ray gun, this is our first proper Black Ops 3 Wonder Weapon. Talk me through your reasoning. I mean,
don't get me wrong. It's a very cool idea, and it's not a weapon in the normal conventional sense.
Yes.
It's really cool. I just find it really irritating.
Okay.
Like you're playing the game, and then you accidentally launch the dragon. Like for prime example, if you're doing the Easter egg and it's an Easter egg that requires you, or it's like a step in the Easter egg that requires you to get like loads of points, you're saving up for something, and a nuke spawns, and you accidentally launch the dragon, the round ends, and you're just like, oh, for Christ's sake! It's like a good idea, but I just don't really enjoy using it. And I mean, in Gerard Crovey, you've got, I mean, there's not really that many weapons in. I mean, I love the Dragon Strike and I like the Raygun Mark III, and I think that's the reason why the Gauntlet of Siegfried, it's just annoying. I mean, maybe that's because I'm not the best zombies player in the world and I'm stupid and I launch it accidentally, but I don't find it user friendly, in my opinion.
I can second that, really. I think that I've got different reasoning though. I think that the Gauntlet of Siegfried, unlike the Ragnaroks and unlike the Skull of Nansarpoy, you sort of forget you have it, because aside from Dragonfire and the dragon's useful for high rounds. It's really good if you're on a high round and you launch it up, and it just helps you get through the unlimited hordes of zombies that there are. But during the Easter egg, it's useful during the Easter egg, but not really useful for the Easter egg. They could have, some of the things you have to do with the Gauntlet, like you have to punch open a safe to get a part, or you have to send the dragon down to get something. I mean, there could have been other ways to do that. The Gauntlet of Siegfried for me is only good for high rounds, and things that are only good for high rounds, not that I have a less respect for them, but I feel like they wouldn't get used by the average player, and you sort of forget that you have it, and you suddenly see it, and but I don't know. It's just it's more irrelevant for me rather than annoying. I think it's one of those things
in terms of the high round thing. I think you can easily say. I mean, like you and I, we're fairly experienced. Yeah. We can get to a decent round, but if you have a look at like the leaderboards, I'd say the average round is like maybe high 20s, right? So like 28.
Okay.
Like the average round, and then stuff starts going wrong.
Yeah.
And then as soon as you lose your stride, as we've seen many a times, it just goes downhill from there, because people keep downing, you keep trying to revive them, and because you don't want to be the last person standing, you fuck up and then you down. So like, we can use things like the Gauntlet because we can do high rounds, but for like the average player, you're gonna need a gun that's just usable. Prime example being the Thunder Gun. Something like that. I mean, like the ray gun Mark III. If you're not a good zombies player and you go on Gorod for the first time, you're going to use the ray gun Mark III.
Of course,
because it's a panic weapon.
Yeah.
The Gauntlet, you need to have skill, and I don't have skill, which is why I'm putting it there.
Well, the Gauntlet of Siegfried is coming up on my list soonish, but I think for my next one is going to be the ray gun, because similar reasoning again. We're kind of.
Do you mean the Mark 1?
The Mark 1, that is, the ray gun Mark 1, and for the reason that it's just as Kieron here has said, it's one of those weapons that you'll take temporarily until you can find something better. Unless you're on Doris and there's more than one person in the game and someone else has the Wonder Waff, you might keep it because it's the other wonder weapon on the map, and it's just cool to have. But generally speaking, through all the maps, you don't really use it unless you can't get anything better, or you really love it. you're not going to take it for long, and for that reason, you know, it's the splash damage to it's not great. It's good. It's just not great. So for that reason, it's coming next.
Okay, so my next one is I'm actually gonna say I don't think many people will be aware of this one.
Okay.
For the very simple reason we know that it's really difficult to get, and I mean, to be fairly honest, it's only recently, I think, been discovered. I think out of all of these, it is the baby one. It's really new.
Yeah.
And it's the spider bait. And for those of you who don't know what that is, I wouldn't even technically class it as a wonder weapon. Really, it's more an ability, I'd say. So it's kind of.
Excuse my phone ringing. I'm just gonna pause it there for a second.
So, as I said before, we were rudely interrupted. It's not even a weapon. So, those of you who've played Zetsubo and obviously Revelations, you're gonna know what the spiders are. They run around like spewing webs at you, and what the spider bait is you actually have the chance to be one of these spiders. So, I mean, the steps are fairly easy. I mean, you're going to need the Skull of Nunsapwe. I won't go into details. Yeah. It's to do with red spiders and the purple, green and blue water. But then what you can do is your player, so Richtofen, Nikolai, Takio, Dempsey, they do something, there's a few tutorials on it. No one really does it because it's kind of pointless and a waste of time. But basically, you become a spider and you're invincible. And you can kill zombies with the webs, while the 4 original characters are invincible and in this cocoon. It's kind of weird. I mean, it's a really cool idea, but it's not really a weapon. And because it's really difficult to use, it's new. No one's really, used it. You don't really use it in game because you've got things like the KT4. There's just no point. So I'm putting it there because it's not bad. I mean, it's good. It's not bad. It's just that no one uses it. So
I feel like I'm going to put that on my list as the next one as well. But for a sort of similar reason, I feel like the spider bait weapon is the sort of thing that they didn't really build upon. I feel like they could have done more with it. I feel like, as we were discussing earlier, that it could have been maybe a potential Easter egg, and there could have been more things to it, but there wasn't. And I feel like. Or there isn't so far, and unless Jason Blundell has done an extremely good job of hiding some secondary Easter egg where you become the spider and do some extra steps, it's just one of those things that you might do for the sake of doing it, and then you just end the game. There's no real benefit to it. I don't know if you can do it in the boss fight. I highly doubt that, but it's not. There's no point to it. I don't see the point of using it, and so. It's next on the list.
Yeah. So my next one already been mentioned, Liquefier.
Okay.
I love this gun.
Yes.
And I've already mentioned the pre-patch, but we won't go into that. It's the only reason it's going next is because it's in Die Rise. I don't see why. I mean, Die Rise has got so many. Let's call them trolls. I mean. It's got the Liquefier, which is awesome. It's got the AN Wallbuy, which is mad. And you can get PhD on Buried. Yes. But Buried? I keep mentioning Buried. You can get PhD on Die Rise, but you can't. You can see the machine.
As a troll.
A troll. So it's just... And I mean, I won't even go into the banking system because I hate that. With such a massive passion. The banking system's just so stupid, but I love the gun. I don't. Buildables are exciting, but once you do them a lot, it just gets tedious because there's no joy in doing it because you do it almost like second nature. It's an awesome looking gun. It does an awesome job. It's got infinite damage on zombies.
Yes,
and you can have a super fun happy slide with it as well. But the thing is, as with like we've mentioned, the gauntlet, the Liquefier does take skill, because if you shoot it in the wrong place, you're gonna fall off the map, or you're gonna fall down an elevator shaft and die. and you don't have PhD. It's just a culmination of things on die rise. Just mean the Sliquifier doesn't go way up in the list, and it's got to go here.
Pre-patched Sliquifier on Mob of the Dead, maybe it would be number 1.
Yeah,
but no, it was on die rise. It's been patched, buildable, everything. All the evidence there is good points.
Yeah.
They are good points, and I agree.
I think we can both say good gun, wrong map.
Good gun,
very
wrong
simple.
Map. Yeah, There's actually a lot of wonder weapons like that. Yeah. Especially the next one I was going to put down, which is quite controversially the Baby Maker.
I'm leaving. I'm actually fully on leaving now. No.
Kieron, get back
here. No. Why? Okay, right. I need to listen to the reasoning behind this.
Okay. This is going to be really my own reasoning. This is not. This is really me being petty.
You better have a good reason, or I'm going to drive a knife through your skull.
So the reason the Baby Maker is next on the list is for the same reasons as the Sliquifier. Reason number 1 is a good gun, but it's on the wrong map. Die Rise. Shangri-La is a hard map, and the gun matches the map in the sense that it's a lifesaver. The gun will get you out of a bad situation effectively, and there are a lot of bad situations on Shangri-La. But I just feel as though once you've used it, you don't really like. It takes once you've used it once and you've seen the baby zombies and you've kicked them away. It's like that's it. That's all it does.
Yeah.
Technically, the gun doesn't actually kill zombies. You kill zombies with your feet. And
same concept as the Winter's Howl, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, you don't. It's just. It's not. I can't really explain it. I mean, once you've seen the zombies on the floor running at you and you've kicked them away and you spam it and you use it and you reload it, it's all great. But for some reason, everyone seems to like the Baby Maker purely for what it does. And I used to be the same. I used to be obsessed with the Baby Maker. I used to binge play Shangri-La just so I could get my hands on the glorious thing that was the Baby Maker. But after using it for a while, after using it in Zombie Chronicles as well, after pack-a-punching it and using the pack-a-punch version, I got so bored of it because it's just the same thing. And although you could argue all Wonder Weapons do the same thing, it's like, I just don't know.
Some Wonder Weapons do the same thing but better than
just
other
better than other ones. And I feel like the Baby Maker it's called the Baby Maker for a reason, because it's not like you call the Staff of Ice the Ice Gun, even though it does the same thing. Like the Baby Maker is just
I think also no one in their right mind is going to say, yeah, I got the 31-79 JGB215 from the box.
Exactly. And I mean, it's just I can't really justify this. I'm sick and tired of the Baby Maker. Is how I summarize it.
I like as you'll know, I had an irrational hatred for Shangri-La,
yes.
but playing it more, especially being able to do the Easter egg, which is not class of my Easter egg. You know, I like the Baby Maker. It's good.
He likes the Baby Maker. I'm just sick and tired of it. Basically, I've seen it so often because of how obsessed I used to be with it, and because of that, I just.
Yeah. You just can't really say anymore, can you?
Okay, right. Yeah. Anyway, quite controversial. Maybe not justified enough, but moving on.
I'm going to get so much hate for this.
Right, go on.
I'm really going to get so much hate for this. It's the Wonder Waff.
Wow, okay. Yeah. Okay.
Right.
You could have got more hate for that, I think. I think there are other things you would have got more hate for. But go
Hands down, everyone loves the Wonder Waff. Like I've already mentioned with the ray gun, in my opinion, the Wonder Waff was the first Wonder Weapon. Yeah. The first thing, one. You know. Yet again, unlimited damage, such a cool idea. I just don't enjoy playing with the Wonder Waff.
Okay.
Yet again, it comes down to the playability. So we've mentioned that previously. You need to be able to have a feel for the gun. You need to enjoy using the gun. And I just don't enjoy using the Wonder Waff. if I get it on World at War, I never take it because to me, Jug is way more important than the Wunderwaffe.
Right. Okay.
For the fact that it was put in the same map as the PPSH.
Yeah.
Which in its own right should be a wonder weapon. Because it's just so good. It is just the most insane piece of equipment ever made.
Okay.
But the Wunderwaffe, it's like, yet again, you're gonna come back to the scenario where you're surrounded.
Right.
So many of the guns on this list will get you out of that situation.
Yes.
I think you can agree the Wunderwaffe won't.
Okay.
Especially if it's before Pack-a-Punched.
Okay.
And you're surrounded on like round 50 by, you know, the entire Nazi Empire undead. It's gonna kill what is it like 5-6 zombies?
Yeah.
A time?
Yeah, at a time.
And the thing is, so those 6 zombies that you shoot are gonna have the epileptic fit and die. But the other 37 million zombies are gonna swipe you and kill you.
Yeah. And there's only 6 Pack-a-Punch shots in the thing.
There's three unpack-a-punch and 6 non-pack-a-punch, and it's like, if you do not have speed cola with this gun,
that's the end.
Yeah, like you're out of ammo, and it gets to the point where everyone knows what I'm going to say. You're out of ammo, and you're just going to die because by the time you've reloaded this gun, 7 Christmases have passed. You've grown a beard. You're a father. You've got a house. Most of your family has died of old age. It takes ages to reload, and to be perfectly honest, I don't know if you'll agree with me, out of all the guns on this list, I don't even like the look of the Wunderwaffe.
I can actually agree with that.
It's an ugly gun. An ugly weapon. Even remastered, it's just made it, like, they put a bit of gold on it.
Yeah, and when you Pack-a-Punch it becomes purple. Yeah, it's not... It's an ugly weapon. I can definitely agree with that. I've never been surrounded on round 50 with the Wunderwaffe, so I can't say I can talk from experience. But I initially in my head I thought, what's he on about? The Wunderwaffe has chained lightning; it will kill them all. But then after explaining it, I can definitely agree with that.
And the only reason that it's not lower down is because it's the original, in my opinion,
Wonder weapon.
Yeah. No. Yet again, the Wunderwaffe is the staple. Of zombies, and it's very important in the storyline as well.
For myself, I feel like the ray guns and every other... No, I feel like for me there's sort of 3 categories of wonder weapons. You have equipment, regular wonder weapons, and then the ray guns. The ray guns I feel like are a whole other category of wonder weapon. I don't really know why. I think it's something to do with the statistics of them, but as he was saying, classing it as the first wonder weapon makes sense, because I feel like the ray gun Mark 1 isn't really a wonder weapon in and of itself. So yeah, no, I definitely see where you're coming from. I'm actually going to take a different turn with my next choice. Okay. I don't know if many people have actually know this with this name, but it's the 1-inch punch from Origins, and it's the punch that you get after filling all the soul chests in the map. And the reason why I have it here is because it's not useful. It's like, think of it you're on round 20, 23, and you're training up some zombies and you get an insta-kill. Would you go and knife those zombies on round 23? Chances are the answer is no. You're still going to shoot them all down anyway. It's a similar concept. By the time you have the 1-inch punch, on average, it's around round 12. Even on round 12 and above, if you get an insta-kill and you're training zombies, you're not going to individually knife them all, you're going to still shoot them down. And the 1-inch punch is just basically a permanent insta-kill, but only for the fist, only for the melee. And you have the upgraded staff melee attack, which is so much better. The 1-inch punch, it's not useful for anything other than the Easter egg. And you have the staff melee attack, and an insta-kill on round 23, as I said, isn't going to incentivize you to knife them. You're going to shoot them down anyway. Yeah. So for that reason, it's there.
We do actually have to remember though that after the 1-inch punch, there is another weapon.
There is, and I'll let the viewers go and find that out for themselves.
Yeah. It's not something we'll mention, but there is a way forward
an
after that, isn't there? There is.
Yeah.
But we're not including that on the list because it's. I mean, I'd say that even 99% of zombies players know all of these guns.
Yes.
But I bet you any money, like only half of the community who are like as into it as me are know about the upgrade after that. So we'll let you guys find out about that.
But still, even if it was to go on the list, it's spoiler alert. It's still a melee, and because it's a good I feel like good melee wonder weapons aren't useful because when you get to the good rounds, when you're surrounded, you don't resort to your knife. You look for a gun.
We have got a melee weapon coming up. I'd probably say out of average, we've got one coming out quite soon.
Okay, there is one or two where I might say it's useful.
Well, we'll come on to that later.
We'll come on to that
later.
So
yeah, one experience. Right, my next one, I have good reasoning for this, is the Dragon Strike.
Go on. Make your case.
Very cool, love it, but the thing is, you think about it, Gorod Krover, you spend quite a lot of your time indoors.
Yes.
There we go, that's the only reason.
Okay.
It's an outdoory gun, and I mean, well, it's not even a gun. Sorry. It's exactly the same as the G-Strike. It's kind of like you throw it, and then all kinds of crazy shit happens.
Yeah.
But the thing is, Gorod Krover, you spend a lot of your time indoors, and you're not going to use it indoors. It's definitely something that you need to throw outside, because if you throw it in the wrong place, you're going to immediately down yourself, and everyone will hate you. That's literally, I love it. I can use the Dragon Strike, but for the very simple reason of playability.
Right.
It's just not something that you're going to use all of the time.
Yeah.
Plus the fact, if you don't know Gorod Krover that well, you're not even going to know how to get it.
Okay. And because similarly, linking on from that, my one after the 1-inch punch is going to be the Gauntlet of Siegfried, because get rid of the dragon from it, and it's basically the 1-inch punch, except it launches you into a crowd of zombies, and most of the time doesn't even kill them all. Then you get surrounded.
And to be perfectly honest, launching yourself into the zombies is the last thing that you want to do when you spend most of your time running away from the zombies.
So that's going to be my next one on my list. But I completely agree with the Dragon Strike. I think the only thing it's going to be useful for, the Dragon Strike is going to be my next one, but the only thing it's really useful for is, as I said before, high round training. If you do take the zombies outside, it will kill them. But actually, the Dragon Strike doesn't kill them all straight away. It doesn't have infinite damage. I found this out doing the Death Machine glitch on Gorod Krover, and I was up and around 45, and I used the Dragon Strike because I thought, heck, why not? And the zombies went and got burnt by the dragon. They didn't even die. So it was pretty pointless, and it's an outdoor thing, and it's not necessary. So it's going to come off to the Gauntlet.
So, and similarly to that, my next one is going to be the G-Strike. They're basically exactly the same thing.
Yeah, okay.
And the thing is, on Origins, I mean, as we'll come on to later, there are so many other guns that you can use. Yeah. Well, maybe not guns, but there's so many other things that everyone is going to use. And to be perfectly honest, I think the only time that both you and I have used the G-Strike is during Little Lost Girl.
For that one
Little Lost Girl, that's it.
Where you need to let the panzers out. That's it. A monkey would suffice otherwise, and so because of that. And
to be perfectly honest, no one likes the panzers. It is a gun that's, well, it's not. Yet again, it's not a gun. Let's call it a beacon that rains death upon everything that should have already been dead anyway. But 115. Woo. So you throw it and it releases, what is it, like 7 panzers?
Yeah.
1 is enough, but 7, nah.
It's not. It's just.
To be fair, they're weak panzers, but it's still panzers. I mean, who likes panzers? They're ugly, they're huge, they're hard to kill, they grab you, they burn you.
Most boss zombies, actually.
Ugly, but the thing is, I kind of like the Furies.
Okay, fine. Revelations.
Yeah, and especially like the Keepers, they look cool. The Panzers are just annoying.
Yeah, okay, that's true, and they can really mess you up with that fire.
And
and the shock charges.
If you're like, yet again, we're coming down to like, I'll call it playability. If you're a new player and you get grabbed by a Panzer, you're not going to know there's the little red button that you can shoot.
Yeah, no.
And the thing is, the Panzer's just going to draw you in and burn your face off.
Yeah, no, it's not something it's necessary. And so, G-Strike grenades, get them out of here, not necessary. So anyway, moving on from that, what are you... what's your next one going to be? We're running out of options here, really.
Yeah, so you haven't... Okay, so... Actually... I'm going to say the 1-inch punch as well.
Okay.
I like it, but like you said, you're going to want to use a gun.
Yeah. It never takes priority in terms of killing zombies.
That's what I mean. Don't get me wrong, it's good, and it's a lot better than most of the things that, well, everything that we've mentioned so far. It's just, yeah.
Yeah, no. I mean, some of the things that we're going to go over now, we don't really need an explanation for because we've already done them. For example, my next one is going to be the G-Strike grenades for pretty much the exact same reason. But anyway, moving on from that.
Right, so my pick now. Okay, so I think that both of us can safely say now we're coming on to the weapons. This is like the halfway point. Yeah. So we've gone from really bad. The ones that are kind of like okay, but these ones are ones that you're still gonna love.
Yeah, yeah.
But I am very simply going to say, probably surprisingly, the ray gun Mark II.
Okay.
You know me well, and I don't really like ray guns. They're not my choice. I just, and I mean, yeah, fair enough, right? The ray gun Mark II, everyone bigs it up, but I have a good point.
Go on.
It's just I don't find it easy to use. Like the same ray gun, although there's no splash damage, and although it doesn't take away your jug, and anyone can use it, there are just so many better options in my opinion. Like you get a ray gun Mark II, and yeah, fair enough, it kills everything, but especially like you and I, we want to have the mixture of being able to kill the zombies and being able to make enough points.
Yes, yeah.
Because points are imperative. Ray gun Mark II, it kills everything but barely gives you any points.
And the thing with the Mark II, in my opinion, the one, aside from your points as well, the one thing that I don't like about the Mark II, as good as it is and as life-saving as it can be, it's too overpowered in my opinion. Once someone gets the Mark II on a map, so for example, I remember more so back on Black Ops 2 and Origins, or Mob of the Dead, any of the maps that you could get the Mark II on, once you had the Mark II, you weren't really going to die. And while that could be considered a good thing, it's not fun. Because the whole, what I find so great about zombies is, you can die at any point. And the Mark II, you whip it out, you put a couple rounds into a whole horde of zombies and they're all dead. And it's no fun for me in that way. But for me, it's going to be a bit higher up the list. But
plus, I think you can second me on this one. How difficult is it to get from the box?
Yeah.
Oh my god, it is so difficult to get from the box. Everyone, I mean, you can literally go like rounds and rounds and rounds and just not get it.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, it's when you do get it for like the first time, it's brilliant, but
it looks amazing.
It looks amazing.
I love the look of the ray gun Mark II, the way that it glows.
Yeah,
it's just
yeah,
and the fact that if it was single burst, it would be almost bottom.
Yes,
for me,
yeah.
Its only saving grace is triple burst.
Yeah.
I mean,
and the fact that it goes, I don't know if people will probably know this, but the ray gun bullets, as we can call them, will stop after they've hit one zombie. The ray gun Mark II, one of the reasons it's so overpowered is because it goes through several zombies, and 3 of those shots and your whole horde's dead. So
especially with Deadshot,
you get them in the head, they're fucked. I mean, you don't even need to get them in the head for the Mark II to be lethal. But one reason why I actually categorise the ray guns as a separate thing from wonder weapons is because the ray guns do less and less damage over time. Yeah. You can get to a point, you can get to around 100. The ray gun Mark II, an entire mag of the Mark II, around 100, or maybe it was higher than that, I can't remember, won't actually kill zombies really effectively. Whereas you have things like the Thunder Gun, which will do that on any round. And so, the ray gun Mark II I can see has many disadvantages. But as I said before, mine will be a bit higher. My next one is going to be the Wando Off, because for similar reasons, but I just put it more higher up for nostalgia's sake, really, because if you do get the Wando Off, you feel safe, in my opinion.
I don't.
He doesn't. I do, because I don't know. It's satisfying when you have a horde of zombies and you pull it out and you fire it and you see them all die, and it's just it's great. But no, for the same reasons it was put lower down on Kieran's list. It's ugly, takes ages to reload. On the higher rounds, it won't save you, and there are better options, and that's why it's there.
Yeah. Okay, so I did. Yeah, no. My next one is going to be the Baby Maker. I know that I threw a hissy fit when you put it much further down. I love the Baby Maker. I really do. I really like Shangri-La, but it's literally just here because every other gun from then on in and a couple of bits of equipment, hint, 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 are just so much better. That's the only reason. I mean, when I get the Baby Maker from the box on Shang, I'm really, really excited. Yeah. But even the Pack-a-Punch from Shangri-La is just so boring. I mean, you don't have to look at the other guns that like fucking see through. Yeah, you've got shit coming out of it. It's just so awful. But as you know, I love Shangri-La Easter egg. I really love the map, and I just like the fact that you can kick midget zombies. Yeah.
Okay. As Kieran has said, we're now getting to the stage where all of these guns are lovable guns. They're good guns, and they're not too overpowered like the Mark II. Some of them are, but they're enjoyably overpowered, and they're satisfying. And these are the guns and the pieces of equipment that people really enjoy. So there's going to be some controversy here, but my next pick is going to be the Gersh device.
Oh wow.
Because
pushing into dangerous territory there, Will.
Yeah, because I put most of the equipment at the bottom of my list, and the Ghost device, the only reason it's really made it this far is because it's a life save. It's a really good life save. You whip out the Ghost, and I know a lot of these weapons are, and I know a lot of these equipment is as well, but it's just something about the Ghost device. Like, I'd rather have the Ghost device than everything else that I've mentioned on the list. Like, I'd rather get a Ghost device than a Baby Maker. You know, that's maybe can't be quite controversial. I'd rather have a Ghost device than a G-Strike grenade or the Wonderwolf. You know, the Ghost device is just one of those things that I would love to just, if I see it, it's mine. That sort of thing. It can be topped by a couple of things, which we'll get onto. But
oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. But
no, for me the Ghost device is going to be a lot further down, just because it's so damn cool.
Okay.
But my next pick is going to be. I'm torn.
Go on.
I'm torn now. I really don't know which one to pick. It's either the Ragnaroks or the Mark III ray gun. I mean, to those of you who want to be specific, the GKZ-45 Mark III. But I think in terms of just pure joy, and you'll understand why the pick after this one, I'm going to put the Mark III now.
Okay.
I don't really have much reasoning behind this. I mean, it's a cool gun. It's so cool. It makes black holes, but as most people know, there's a gun that does that much better.
Yes.
But it's a life save. The only reason, yet again, in terms of me, that it's not, higher up is because you don't get that many points from it.
Yeah, no, and the Mark III as well is I feel like you take it because it's good, but a few rounds later you might want to just... It's one of those wonder weapons that you wouldn't keep the whole game. You'd maybe get rid of it later on in the rounds for maybe like a point gun. Or I know I would anyway. But I think the concept of it is cool. We've never seen a dual-wield ray gun variant before. And so, obviously, the Mark 1, then the upgrade from the Mark 2, and then the Mark 3s, I think it was cool, but it didn't get put into all the other maps like the Mark 2 was. And it was sort of underperformed.
And I think... Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's the only gun on this list that has like... Oh no, it's not. It's one of two from what I can see that does more than one thing. So it's like the left-hand shot, you slow them. Yeah. The right-hand shot, they die.
And it combines.
And they die a lot better.
Yeah.
But like I said, the only reason it's not higher up is because you don't get that many points from it. It's a very good panic gun.
Yeah, definitely.
Don't get me wrong. It's just I enjoy using the ray gun as well. The Mark III anyway.
For me, the next one, really counting it down here, is going to be the KT4. Because it's just... I don't know. It's very Zetsubo. You wouldn't see it on any other map. I love the thing because it's just, I don't know. I just love the way it reloads. I love the way it looks, and I love the sort of aesthetic of the weapon. but it's such a hassle to get.
Yeah.
And to upgrade it it's just and for that it's not really going to be in my top 5. It's going to be very high. It is very high, but it's not.
It's amazing for inexperienced players because the good players spend all the game building it.
Yeah.
And then the people who aren't that good, it's just like, oh, I've got this out of the box.
Yeah, exactly. You can get it out of the box once one person has got it. And
so you could potentially. I mean, it's very good for the Easter egg because if you play on, you can have 4 KT4s, which is so handy for the boss fight
ones as well.
Because. As we all know, we will do bosses in the future for a podcast.
Yes, definitely.
But one word, idea. Thrashers.
I'd say, in terms of it's good for Thrashers or it's bad for Thrashers? I'd say
it's really good for Thrashers. Really good for Thrashers. I mean, that's what I mean. Thrashers are the most irritating thing. You think I've compared them to herpes, right?
Yeah,
you get rid of it, but then they come back stronger.
And the KT4 is really good at dealing with them. But because of the amount of time it takes to build it, and then because of the amount of time and effort it takes to upgrade it, it's not going to quite cut the
Pack-a-Punch though.
List.
That doesn't count. We're not doing the Pack-a-Punch variants, but it's still Pack-a-Punched. Wow.
Yeah, no, well, so upgraded, because you can't technically Pack-a-Punch the thing.
Oh yeah, right, upgraded.
Yeah, there is the process of upgrading is just, it takes too long. But
and the zombies community
is upgraded.
And the zombies community just hates Zetsubo. Yeah, I love Zetsubo.
Personally, I think is one of the better maps, actually. But it's, I don't know. Well, let's just move on. Leave it there.
But as I said, moving on, my next one is going to be the Ragnaroks.
Okay.
They're so cool. I mean, you've seen me in games.
Yeah.
I don't ever use the Ragnaroks except like the dual smash on the ground.
Yeah, no. I mean...
And then when they run out, it is the most satisfying thing on planet Earth. It's just like a thunderstorm that just kills everything. I just love them. It's just down here because very simply everything else is better. Yeah. That's literally it.
Everything else that we haven't mentioned yet, that is.
Yes.
So my next one is going to be the... I'm torn because I kind of want to get... Because what I've come to realise is the Black Ops 3/2 wonder weapons are a lot better than the Black Ops 1 wonder weapons, in my opinion anyway. And the next one for me is going to be the wave gun, because mainly because good gun, bad map, and also because I mean I really love the wave gun. I love it, and I love it when the way you put it together, the way it can be dual wield. It's similar to the Mark III in the sense that you can, when you combine the actual gun, it's like a combined effect. It can kill hordes. I love the thing to death, but because it's on Moon and because it's so hard to get out of the box. And because, well, thanks to Zombies Chronicles, the Ray Gun Mark II is also on Moon. It kind of devalues the wave gun a little bit. But I love the thing to death. I just don't like the fact it's on Moon, which is why it's not going to be any higher.
The reasoning there is fair. The reasoning that the wave gun's coming soon for me, but I think the one that's actually going to come before it, it's got to be the KT4. It's got to be the KT4. Yeah. I've said, I love the KT4, but yeah, it's just a hassle to make. And I mean, if you do not know Zetsubo at all, you will never get the KT4. It's impossible.
Yeah, no, it takes experience to get the KT4, and if you don't have any,
and especially on, I think you can agree. I love Zetsubo, but there is so much to do.
Yeah,
there's so many buildables. I mean, we only know how to do it because we've done the Easter eggs, but
of course,
it's just a hassle. And I mean, if you just want to play zombies, like have a nice casual game of zombies, it's imperative that you need the KT4 on Zetsubo. If you want a nice casual game of zombies, you're never going to get the KT4, and you're going to purely rely on box luck. And I mean, you could also say maybe challenges, but as we know, challenges on Zetsubo are a definite hit and miss.
Yeah, no. There are some really easy challenges to some really difficult ones.
Really difficult.
And some of them are even
grow a seed. Really different.
Grow a plant. Grow a fruit, sorry. Is just sometimes you do everything right and you won't even get it. There's a moral in there somewhere. But moving on from that, my next one is going to be the Ray Gun Mark III, because for me the Mark II is higher, but the Mark III, love it, but it's just I don't know, it doesn't. I just think, again, for the very simple reason that everything else that we haven't mentioned is going to be better than the Mark III in my opinion. So for that reason, the Mark III is out.
Okay, now I'm going to It's really difficult because both of these weapons are on my favourite zombies map of all time.
Are you conflicted?
Mob of the Dead.
Okay.
I don't think I'm conflicted. I think
I know what you're going for.
The next one's going to be the Golden Spork.
Yeah, I can see that coming.
To be fair, I don't think that many. If you're not yet again an average zombies player, you might not even know what this is.
Yeah.
There is a step to doing it.
You might know what it is, but you probably if you're an average zombies player, you're probably not going to get it because it is quite tough to get.
Yeah. It's amazing. You can't say any more than that. What is it? One hit kill until around 50, or is it 60? It's one of the two.
I actually think it was 43.
It's some random number, isn't it?
Some random number. It's really high.
And it is amazing. It's a spork and it's golden, and you get it from a bathtub of blood.
Yeah, no, it's
everything is just so cool about it. It's just not a lot of people know about it, and I mean there are other priorities for me when I'm playing mob.
Yeah, no, it's definitely not.
It's one of those weapons that you'll get when you're just like, oh, I have a bit of spare time.
Yeah, no, I mean it's something you do. It's necessary for the Easter egg, but I love the thing. But
oh yeah,
my reasoning for I'm gonna put it next as well. But my reasoning for it is similar to the 1-inch punch. Is that
you don't melee.
You don't melee on higher rounds, and the fact that it's good on things like Brutus, it takes like 4 hits to kill Brutus on like around 30 something from the Golden Spork, which is great. But when you've got a large amount of zombies, you just don't melee.
Well, it's not even that. You don't want to get close to Brutus.
And
you want Brutus to stay as far away from you as possible.
And when you've got the Blunder Gat, you've got the Acid Gat, the Vitrolic Wither, and it goes down in terms of priorities. The Golden Spork, and it's great, but you don't melee on zombies that often, and because of that, it's also going to be my next one as well.
I'm having to think. Oh no, I was going to say no. My next one is the Hell's Retriever. Then yet again on Mob of the Dead. I mean, I think most of us can agree that Hell's Retriever is just so cool.
Yeah, no, definitely, it's unique. It's never been really done on another map. Well, there's nothing that comes close, is it? Yeah. I think the only thing that you could probably compare to it is the dragon from the Gauntlet. Yeah.
It kind of does the same thing. I mean, you can use the Hell's Retriever for all sorts. I mean, you can use it to mow down hordes of zombies. You can use it to get drops that are far away from you. And if you're on the plane or mob and you throw it behind you, it follows you forever. It just looks really cool.
Yeah, and I think the Hell's Retriever is. It's one of those things that you're going to get. You're going to do it. It's in fact it's the biggest priority on Mob of the Dead. Everyone feeds the dogs, and the only thing that will benefit you from feeding the dogs is that you get the Hell's Retriever. Of course, I'm doing the Easter egg as well, but I mean, I think Hell's Retriever is just something you get. It's just good, you know.
Plus, as well, it's so handy because once you feed the dogs and break down the wall, it's always there. Yeah. So I mean, on Mob of the Dead, if you down.
Right.
You've still got something to go back on.
Yes.
So like you spawn back in the next round and you can grab your Hell's Retriever and then you've got we could call it a vague chance, but you're going to have a much better chance than, you know, on like round 50 and you've got the starting pistol.
Yeah, no.
And no points. It'll build your points up, and if you're skillful enough, you can dodge all the zombies, you can get your points back up, and it's just handy. But yet again, with some of the ones that I've mentioned, there's just so many things that are better.
Yeah, no, and my one here is the Hell's Retriever is actually going to be next, but this one for me is going to be the Apothecan's Sword, because actually the other thing that we could compare the Hell's Retriever to is the upgraded Apothecan's Sword, because with the upgraded Apothecan's Sword you can release like a flying miniature sword that does sort of similar things to the Hell's Retriever, but it's not as good or as sort of memorable as the Hell's Retriever, and because of that it's going to come before the Hell's Retriever, which is going to be my next option.
And we've actually swapped, because my next one is the Apothecan's Sword.
Okay.
So we've just swapped it. Don't get me wrong, I love the Apothecan's Sword, but it's really strange for me, because on Shadows we know there's something else you can get that's a lot better.
Yes.
Plus there are guns that are better, and the thing is, you get the the only reason that I get the Apothecan's Sword is to do the Easter egg.
Yeah,
and I mean, it's really strange because when I get the Hell's Retriever on Mob, I always remember that I have the Hell's Retriever.
Yeah.
No matter what gun I've got.
You always use
it. I find that on Shadows, when I get the Apothicon Sword, I don't really use it. I forget that I have it in the inventory. Because I'm relying so much on screaming and using the guns that I just forget that I have it.
Okay. So why then does it come after the Hell's Retreat?
Because I think that when I remember that I do have it, it's better to use.
Better to use. Yeah. No. Okay. I see that.
It's strange reasoning, but that's why.
Okay. So both sort of melee weapons, if you like, out of the way there. Moving on. My next one is going to... Oh, nearly knocked my glass over there. My next one is going to be... It's having a really, really difficult time deciding out of these ones. Because there's some that you haven't picked yet and I'm getting confused with them. My next one's going to be the... Oh, I don't know. I'm going to have to say the Thunder Gun. Because I just don't like it as much as the remaining weapons, and as life-saving as it is, I'd rather have some of the other things on this list than the Thunder Gun. And as great and as nostalgic and as brilliant and as it's just as great as it is, the Thunder Gun, I'd rather have a Mark II than a Thunder Gun.
No words can justify that choice. We'll just forget that you've said that. Okay, so aside from Will's ridiculous decision there, the next one for me is going to be the wave gun.
Okay.
I love it. I love the concept of it, but it's just getting harder to explain. Yeah, again, there's just other things that are better. I mean, on Moon, it's imperative. It's so important, but the thing is, no one plays Moon because you just want to end up throwing yourself off a very high building, especially when you're trying to do the Easter egg, because you wait until like round 100 for the fucking...
for any Easter eggs to occur.
It's incredibly difficult to get out of the box.
Yeah.
And it suits Moon well.
Yes, definitely.
Moon is a very, very futuristic map. You know, don't get me wrong, I do enjoy Moon, but not as much as I'd like to. So you know, it's a good gun on the wrong map, I guess you can say again.
Okay, yeah, similarly to my reasoning there. Would you like to do your next one?
Yes. So my next one is going to be the other wonder weapon in Call of the Dead. It's going to be the Scavenger.
Okay, before the ghost device. What's going on?
Yeah,
here?
So the Scavenger is everything that I love in life. It's explosives and it's a sniper in one go.
Right.
It's just the only reason that it is not a lot higher up is because I don't play Call of the Dead as much as any of the other maps.
Yes,
And I think if you play Call of the Dead enough, you know that the wonder weapons are ridiculously difficult to get. I mean, it's great because it's amazing. I'll justify why it's here now. It's amazing for killing George.
Yeah.
It's such a cool looking gun.
Yeah.
It does such a cool thing. But the thing is, when you're in higher rounds, you can't really train with it.
Right.
Because I mean, you shoot into one zombie and then it's got a delayed timer. As I'm sure you're aware. So I mean, you've got a chance of like missing.
Yes.
You've got a chance of firing it into a zombie and then accidentally getting caught in the horde.
Yeah.
And then you might accidentally down yourself. So that's why it's such a good gun, but it's almost dangerous to use if you don't know how to use it properly.
I mean, with the aid of PhD Flopper, which you could get on Call of the Dead, obviously then you're not going to take damage from the gun, which just makes it such an overpowered weapon. But I see your point. It's not really a training weapon. It's more kind of, I don't know, really like a holdout sort of gun. Camping.
Like I said, the only reason that I really ever pick up the Scavenger is to kill George, because as we all know, although George, may he rest in peace, awesome bloke, on Call of the Dead we just wish he wasn't there.
Yeah. The one place we wish he wasn't is Call of the Dead. And also Dead. We wish he wasn't dead. Anyway,
Rip George Romero.
My next
forever in our hearts.
Pick. It's just getting difficult now. I can't. Okay. No, I know what I'm gonna about the Skull of Nan-Stop Point. Because now here's a fun fact. The Skull of Nan-Stop Point for me was I only used it to sort of make challenges easier, or to do the skull life non-stop boy glitch where you could get an unlimited skull life non-stop boy, you would forever kill zombies, you could camp in the elevator room,
and then a Thrasher spawns.
And we don't need to talk about
like we said, we'll come on to that in another podcast.
Yeah, we'll come into another podcast.
Thrashers.
But skull non-stop boy,
fuck you, Thrashers.
Brilliant. I'd rather have a skull non-stop boy than a thunder gun, but I'll explain it. But
okay.
skull non-stop boy. Not going any further, my friend. We're leaving him here,
and we can take it off the list now because it's my next pick.
Okay,
I love it, but it's yet again I'm an absolute idiot, and I sometimes forget that I have it.
Yes, that's true.
Like prime example, one of the times that I played Zetsubo, and you were with me in this game, kill a Thrasher before it becomes enraged.
Yes.
There was me trying to do it with a normal gun, and it took like 1,000 years, and then you whack out the skull when you remember that you have it, and you insta kill the thing. But like I said, I actually find that the skull is sometimes quite easy to die with, because when you've got it out, you think that you're invincible, and then you use it and it runs out.
And you get cocky with it.
And you're dead. And then you're dead. So if you know how to use it, it's amazing. But it's not higher up because it's not user friendly for everybody.
Yeah, no, definitely. I'm conflicted with the next one because it's between the scavenger and the bows.
Okay.
Now, don't get me wrong, the bows are brilliant, but they're just replicas of the staves, and
the staves are better.
And I feel like the Horizon Drac is one of my favourite maps, and when we do a podcast on ranking all the maps, it's gonna come close to the top. But
yeah, I second that.
Yeah, but the bows, I don't know, they're great. This is why this is high. They're super high up on my list, but the remaining things that we have to go through, in my opinion, I would rather have than the bows. Because the bows, they're fun to use, but I don't gain pleasure out of using them. It's weird to say, but for example, with something, for example, the Ragnaroks, I really like holding and using the Ragnaroks. I just do, and when I'm holding a bow, I don't know, I just don't really feel it, and for that reason, the bows are there on my list. Very high up, but not the top.
Yeah, so my next pick is it's got to be the Gersh device now.
Okay.
For the very simple reason, everything else that's remaining for me is just so much better. Yeah. I mean, the Gersh devices, they are just so cool.
Okay.
I love them. They make black holes, unlimited damage. They're important in 2 of the Easter eggs, Ascension and Moon. I just love the idea. I mean, how handy would it be in life if you could just have a grenade that made a black hole?
You could jump into it and teleport somewhere else. Yeah. No,
or just throw it at one of your teachers.
Or just that, you throw it at the whole school. Yeah, no, brilliant. I put mine.
They're perfect. They are the epitome of the best, but it's just everything else is the best of the best of the best. That's why.
That's why. Moving on. Okay, so my next one, we've already justified this, is going to be the scavenger, because at this point, it's great, but everything else is better. Really, there's going to be an occurring justification in this when we're talking about wonder weapons of this caliber. So yeah, the scavenger for me takes it very high up the list, but better than the bows in my opinion. So that's why they're there.
And on the subject of the bows, we can strike them off now because they're mine. I want to kind of discuss the variants just very quickly.
Right,
so I think we can all agree the lightning bow is amazing.
The best bow.
Yeah. I love the fire bow. I mean, when we did the Easter egg, I bagged the fire bow because I just enjoy using it.
Yes,
it's playable.
Yeah, of course.
I like the way that it looks, and I just love the step where you fly through the air and have to shoot the circles.
Yeah.
I just love doing that step. So that's the only reason that I like the bows. The void bow is not really, my thing. It's a cool idea, but every single time someone is using the void bow, I just get scared by the skulls because I'm too busy doing other things. I turn around, there's just a skull, and it scares me. And I just don't like the wolf bow.
I feel like the wolf bow is underpowered. People don't necessarily understand how to use it. How you use the wolf bow is instead of the lightning bow and the fire bow and the void bow, which you can all charge up and shoot at the ground and they'll do mass damage. If you do that with the wolf bow, nothing will happen, and for that reason people disregard it. But the secret to the wolf bow is, I'm not justifying it as the best bow, it's not the best bow by any means, but you have to actually charge it and shoot it at the zombies. It's not an area effect, it just kills a number of zombies if you hit the horde and not the ground. Unlike the lightning bow, for example, where you hit the ground and they all just die. But I agree that the variants of the bows are definitely more rankable than the staffs. I feel like the staffs, by this point, they're such legendary weapons that you can't, people are going to love the fire bow just as much as they love the lightning bow. People do. But with the bows, way more people love the lightning bow and the fire bow than they do the wolf bow and the void bow. So I think it's more unequal than the staffs.
But I think you can also say the big advantage of the bows is getting the standard variant from obviously behind or in the crypt. It's really easy to get.
Yeah.
You know, if you're a beginner zombies player, and especially if you're just going back on, or if you're going on Der Eisendrache for the first time, it's really easy to get.
Yeah.
Which is good because you can get the standard bow, disregarding the upgrade processes. Yes, but I'm saying you can get the standard bow, and you've got a weapon that does a good amount of damage. It's got good ammo. I like the point counts. Plus, it makes you get a feel for the map because you can obviously explore Der Eisen. You can get a feel, have a look at it. Get engulfed in the story. And as we all know, the storyline of zombies is so complex and it's just incredible.
I feel like the bows really do fit Der Eisendrache.
Oh yeah, very well. But it's just they're not as good, obviously, as the staves and the remaining weapons, in my opinion. I mean, I love using the bows, and I'm not going to put any hate on the bows. It's just there's things that are just better.
No, I agree. My next one is going to be the Ragnaroks, because let's face it, while I love the Ragnaroks, they're brilliant. I love holding them. They don't quite cut the top. They don't beat the best of the best. They're really good. My favourite
and the glitches on Der Eisen is just so
unlimited
cool.
Ragnaroks, just
they're not unlimited as we found out.
I just love the Ragnaroks, and I don't know, I just love the Ragnaroks, just put it like that. But they don't beat my love for the other guns that we've still got to go through.
Okay, so my next pick is now definitely going to be the Thunder Gun.
Okay.
Like I said, I love the Thunder Gun. It's again, I think it will rank as like a very famous zombies wonder weapon. You can't die with it, and if you do die with it, you just should never play zombies, just ever. It's the best panic weapon out there. I think the only problems with the Thunder Gun is it doesn't have a 360 degree spread. It'll only kill what's in front of you.
Yeah.
As we know, there are a couple of guns. You can shoot it in the floor and everything around you just dies. And obviously there are a couple of ones where even if you shoot in front of you, everything around you still dies. Well, with Thunder Gun, it'll only kill in a 90 degree radius in front of you. The ammo count isn't that high. And if you think about it,
I find the reloading to be a little bit annoying as well, because you can't reload till you're completely out of ammo, which is it's more petty for me, because I always reload after shooting, as I'm sure most first-person shooter players will do, and you can't do that with the Thunder Guns. When you have that one bullet that you just have to wait.
But on the bright side, you know that as soon as you fire the Thunder Gun, you're going to have enough time to reload it, because everything is dead.
Everything is gone.
As long as there's nothing behind you. And my main. Again, my main complaint is you fire the Thunder Gun and you will get barely any points.
Yeah, no.
It's literally just a panic gun. That's all that it's there for. It doesn't give you any points.
It's good for the rounds, the high rounds.
Just can't die with it. That's it.
So my next choice is going to be... it's a difficult one. I'm conflicted between... 3, actually. No, I'm conflicted between 2.
Okay.
The Blundergat and the Raygun Mark II. So the reason for this being is because on Mob of the Dead, well, the only map obviously where you can get the Blundergat, if I have the Mark II, or I have the Blundergat and I see the other one in the box, I just do not know what to do. Do I swap the Blundergat for the Mark II or vice versa? What do I do? I can't decide. But I think just because of Mob of the Dead, it's just such a special map, I'm going to put the Ray Gun Mark II beneath the Blundergat.
Okay. Whereas my next one is now two things that do pretty much exactly the same thing. But it's going to be, before we say it, the next one's going to be the Little Arnie.
Okay.
So this is going to be in my heart forever as one of the most it's just so they're just so cool.
Yeah.
I mean, you pull it out for the first time and it's this thing in a jar.
Yeah.
And then you throw this thing in a jar at the ground and everything automatically dies.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're attracted to it. It's got such a stupid amount of health. It flays around like it's having some kind of fit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well,
it's
all the good
basically it's a little tiny smiling octopus in a jar that says Lil Arnie, and you throw it and it turns into like a big octopus
and
that just flays its tentacles around. Oh, they're just so satisfying when you get them from the box. And I mean, you shake it before you throw it. It does this little scream, and it's just everything about the Little Arnie is amazing.
As I was mentioning before, the Blundergat is going to be my next thing because the Ray Gun Mark II just doesn't quite cut it. The Blundergat, in my opinion, is not better than the remaining guns. But I love the Blundergat. The only thing I don't like too much about it is the fact that it, well, for me anyway, it relies a lot on... I found myself relying a lot on Electric Cherry because for those of you who don't know, the more ammo that you're reloading, the more powerful Electric Cherry is. So if you reload a full magazine, then Electric Cherry will kill everything. And obviously Electric Cherry was where... Mob of the Dead was where Electric Cherry was first introduced, and obviously the Blundergat only had one shot in it. So every time you fired a bullet at the one of the Blundergat, the Electric Cherry would just kill everything. If you didn't have Electric Cherry or Speed Cola, the Blundergat it kind of loses out a little bit.
Difficult. It's just difficult to use.
It relies on perks and skill. Obviously, unless you upgrade it, and the Acid Gat and blah blah blah, it gets much better. But we're talking about just the Blundergat here. But I love the thing to death. I just love the idea of this quadruple barrel shotgun. It's got a little wolf on the back of it, and it's just great.
And it's on Mob of the Dead.
It's on Mob of the Dead, best map.
Yeah, hands down, the best map.
But moving on from there.
Well, like I said, two things that do exactly the same thing. The only reason that the monkey bombs are now is because just monkey bombs.
Fair enough.
Like the ray gun and the Wunderwaffe. I mean, as we've mentioned, monkey bombs, I think in my mind, are actually the staple of zombies. You're not going to get one zombies player that won't pick up the monkey bombs from the box. They are so important. They're a lifesaver. You know, they have a really important role in the storyline with Samantha. And it's a simple monkey. People think everybody just loves a simple monkey, and it's got little sayings when you throw it, and it makes a pretty little tune, and then it just kills everything. Fair enough. It's not the most powerful thing on planet Earth, but you've got to think of it. You know, no matter how many zombies are around you, you throw the monkey bomb and they're all going to be attractive.
Yeah.
Attracted. And I mean, for example, on a map, let's just take Kino, for example.
Yeah.
You get the monkey bombs and you've got your thunder gun.
Right.
You've got like 30,000 million zombies around you. You throw the monkey bomb, they all go towards the monkey bomb. You fire the thunder gun. That's pretty much a round done.
Yeah. No, of course.
And it's like, the main thing in my eyes, the reason why monkey bombs and Little Arnies are so important, and you will agree with me on this, is if you've got a down player.
If you've got a down player, especially...
Throw the monkey bomb or the Little Arnie, and you can revive them. And I mean, on Black Ops 3 it got even better, because you've got things like near-death experience and Phoenix Up. So you chuck your monkey bomb or the Little Arnie, you use your gobble gum, everyone's got all their perks back, and then you're back in the flow of things, which, as I said before, is really important. You need to have that constant flow to survive through the rounds to get your Easter eggs done.
No, definitely. I feel like they're just lifesavers more so than the guns, and because there's less equipment that is a lifesaver than there are guns, I feel like that makes the monkey bomb and the little Arnie very special. However, I am going to disagree with you on one point, which is that I think that the little Arnies are actually better than the monkey bombs, and are therefore going to be my monkey bomb is going to come now before the little Arnie. And the reason for that is for the reason that it does the exact same thing, great thing. While the monkey bomb has the sort of nostalgia to it, the little Arnie is way more effective at its job. It does a way better job of killing the zombies, and I don't know. You can upgrade them in Revelations. Fair enough, you can upgrade monkey bombs, but it's a process. And because the little Arnie it's so different, it's so unique. The monkey bomb is in basically every map, whereas the little Arnie is only in 2, I think. And so I don't know. I just think the little Arnie is better at the job that it's supposed to do, and for that reason, it's going to become.
I agree with you, but I put the monkey bomb for the nostalgia reason.
Yeah, no, I figured that.
It's important, and obviously, as we know, I love the storyline. Yeah. It needs to come there, but
of course.
So you said little Arnie. I'm now going to say. Probably still going to get some hate for this. I am going to say the staffs from Origins.
What?
Yeah.
No way.
So there's not a lot that you can say about the staffs. You know, they are legendary. There's just 2 things I prefer a lot more, and my reasoning is to come. I mean, you know my personal reasons as well.
Yes, yeah.
But the staffs, you know, they're just, even though they're buildables, they are so fun to make. I mean, no matter how many times I play Origins, no matter how many times anyone will play Origins, building the staffs and getting the parts is always fun. Except the ice staff, because everyone just gets fed up with snow and rain and whatever. But I mean, you know, the wind staff parts, getting them from the 115 robots, you know, the fire staff parts, getting them from the plane and the Panzer. You know, the lightning staff parts, riding on the tank.
Everything just makes them good.
Yeah. And obviously, when you get into the upgraded versions, you just can't die. And then it's not on the list, but you've got to remember that you've got, what is it, the Setmet's Vigor.
Yeah.
You know, where you can...
The back of the stars.
The back of the stars, where you can revive everybody. There's just nothing bad about the stars. The only reason that, you know, it's my top 3 now. I'm just going on... You know, ones that make me smile more. And I love using the staffs. I mean, there's not a bad one. The wind staff upgraded. You fire a tornado, everything dies. You've got the fire staff. You fire a volcano, everything dies. The lightning staff needn't say no more. I mean, it's
just everything. And then the melee, the upgraded. You know, with the upgraded
don't
staffs.
Even get us started on the wind staff upgrade.
And they look beautiful.
Sorry, the ice staff.
Yeah, they look great. Not
especially
so much,
remastered.
Yeah,
remastered are amazing.
They look beautiful. Not so much the unupgraded versions, but when they're upgraded, they've got the spikes. They've got everything it just looks good. They look good and they're fun to use. And I agree, they're definitely in the top 3 now. But mine a little bit higher than yours. No, that's weird for me to think. The little Arnies of my top 3 is in my top 3. That's and I didn't think I'd ever be saying that, but they are.
So my next one now is going to be the Blundergat.
Okay, Blundergat.
Because I've spent so many hours on Mob, and the Blundergat is just. I just can't say anymore.
Yeah,
it's just perfect.
Yeah,
it's just perfect. I love the standard version, but I mean the Vitrolic Withering.
Yeah,
no. I'm not even going to go into detail. If you don't know what the Vitrolic Withering does, Google it, get it. Try your hardest just to.
You'll see why he likes it so much if and when you get it. In my number 2 spot, I am very much conflicted by my last 2 choices. I'm not going to mention them out loud. I'm just trying to think for myself. I don't know. I'm going to have to say the staffs. Because both of our number 1 picks, it's an obvious.
The
staffs for me for the same reason, but I kind of don't rank the Blundergat so highly, which is why mine is slightly higher than Kieran's choice. But the staffs are brilliant, and I love them to pieces. And they're my second most favourite wonder weapon. All 4 of them collectively, individually they might be slightly ranked differently, but a number 1 pick.
I think we need a countdown for this.
We need a countdown. 3,
2, 1. Apothicon Servant. It's
definitely my favourite wonder weapon of all time.
It's just everything you want. It's just everything. I mean, there's nothing bad about. I think the only thing that I can say is really frustrating about this gun is no one knows how to upgrade it on mob. Sorry, not mob. I'm going along with the timeline here.
Yeah.
Shadows. No one knows how to do it. It is possible. Blundell said it's possible, but just no one's managed to work it out.
No one has managed to work out how to upgrade the Apothicon Servant. And the only other thing, which I actually think they did a really good job of deciding this when they were deciding how much ammo it was going to have. I think a little bit more ammo would be nice. But
I don't think it should.
No, really?
Because the thing is, it's like, well, we could be here forever listing the perks of this gun, but in my opinion, the main ones, the look of it, it's alive.
Yeah.
It is a living thing. It's a living thing. You literally do fist it. You fist the gun, but it's alive. I mean, if you play with the weapon and don't actually shoot it, it moves, it blinks, it makes noise. I mean, on Shadows, you build it from 3, so it's just so cool. You build it from a heart, like from a Magua heart, and I mean, Maguas. I mean, they're not my most hated boss because I find them easy to kill, but Maguas are just so cool. And then you can make something even cooler out of them, but. It looks amazing, but the main perk is what it does.
The performance of the gun is just downright. You can't die. You can't die, and I know I said that that's a disadvantage of the Mark II, but you can die with the Mark II. Actually, you can die quite easily. With the Mark II.
You can die with pretty much every gun on it, but I think it's got to be impossible to die with the Apothicon Servant.
You put it anywhere, obviously, unless you fire it into the sky, but why would you do that? And I mean, or unless you put it too far away from you. Although you can't teleport with it like you can with the Ghost device. The Ghost device is unreliable. You only have 3. The Apothicon Servant, unless you're out of ammo or you're being just stupid, you're gonna survive. And the thing is as well,
a black hole. The Gersh device, as we said, is amazing, but it shoots Gersh devices, but Gersh devices that are like 1,000,000 times more powerful,
better,
and they sound different.
And
they look different, and everything just. But the thing is, the Apothicon Servant, you can get so many points. The amount of points you can get is ridiculous. Because I mean, with like the Thunder Gun, I literally think you do get like 10 points. But I mean, I think the Apothicon Servant, correct me if I'm wrong, you get 100 points per kill.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you're around like round 60 and like 100 zombies have spawned in, well, I'll let you do the maths. It's just insane.
And that's the other thing. You can be on round 105 or 1,005, and the Apothicon Servant will always guarantee your safety. The only thing that's going to stop you from, the only reason you would die with the Apothicon Servant
ammo count
is the ammo count, or you just get trapped. And in fact, even if you get
trapped, you just shoot it at the floor.
Exactly.
Everything dies.
It's the ammo, which is why I think a little bit more ammo.
We need to say as well, you can upgrade it on Revelations,
and when you do,
and I think the shot. You literally just shoot it and it lasts for like a minute. Everything you can do nothing. You can put down your controller and you can go to the toilet and the Apothicon Servant you don't even need to be on you don't even need to do anything. You can put your controller down, you can, like I said, go to the toilet, you can cook your dinner, and the Apothicon Servant is still killing the zombies and you don't have to do anything.
It's beautiful stuff.
And then you upgrade it on Revelations. The upgrade step is kind of tedious, I think you can say.
Yeah.
But like,
I mean, once you know how to do it,
you can get an Apothicon Servant that's like blue
or green
or just every Revelations pack-a-punch
camo. And I just think there is yet to be a gun that is just so it's relevant too. A problem that I have with things like the monkey bombs, the blunder gap, is that it makes sense what it is. It's a quadruple barrel shotgun. But like, does it really fit with the theme of One of the Dead? Yes, but when you look at the context of it, not really. Whereas with the Apothicon Servant,
it's just so relevant.
It's relevant. It's contextualized. It appears in both the maps where you would expect it to appear, and it's just brilliant. I can't really think of many negatives Other than the fact that occasionally, when you're doing the flag step on Shadows of Evil, it might get in your way.
Yeah, we won't mention that.
We won't mention that flag step.
Yeah.
But yeah,
don't
anyway.
even get an achievement.
For the
Mob of the Dead, everybody. Mob of the Dead. Shadows of Evil, everybody.
No achievement for the Easter egg.
Shadows
But that's
of Evil.
for a whole other podcast. But anyway, thank you guys for listening to this. I think we concluded quite nicely there. The Path Concern, the best one ever, in our opinions. Just remember, it's just our opinions.
And don't forget to tune in next time, where I do believe we'll be discussing Zombies Maps best to worst.
Zombies Maps, yeah, best to worst. And after that we'll go through everything really. Boss zombies, boss fights. Just everything. And we're also going to be doing other things on like Halo, for example, or other video games that we're interested in. And just tune in next time and leave a comment as well on what you want us to do a podcast on, and we might think, hey, that's a good idea. Also, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this with your friends for more great content. But anyway, thanks for listening, and bye for now.